Hello, Internet, and welcome to Frozen Theory, where we dissect the frozen universe and discover that love, in fact, is an open door. The hit song in this film is Let It Go. It is hyped up and overemphasized in the Disney universe. But why would it not? It's the highest grossing animated movie ever. You thought you knew everything about Let It Go? No, you don't. Because prepare to let go of what you thought you knew about Frozen's Let It Go as we dive down deep into a 10 on 1, not a 1 on 10. You may have thought Let It Go was just a typical Disney song like Under the Sea or I See the Light, but no, Disney's Let It Go lets go of the typical Disney stereotype. But what is the Disney princess stereotype exactly? Looking back at the Disney classics, we can see some common themes throughout the princesses, like obedience or big dreams. But one attribute that conforms them all into one stereotype is a dependence on the male savior. In The Little Mermaid, Ariel is saved by Prince Eric to an exciting life on land. Aurora is saved by Prince Philip in Sleeping Beauty, and Snow White is saved by a nameless prince in Snow White. In Tangled, Rapunzel is saved from a sequestered life of boredom by a charming bandit. Even in Frozen, one of the sisters, Anna, falls into this category. But in Let It Go, Elsa is the one who saves herself. Before examining Let It Go and how it breaks through the Disney stereotype, we must examine the events leading up to the song. There are two sisters, Elsa and Anna, who dearly love each other. Elsa has ice powers, the ability to create snow and ice out of thin air and to make whatever she wants. However, everything goes downhill as Elsa accidentally strikes her younger sister with ice when creating an indoor winter wonderland. Anna is rushed off to be treated by trolls and unfortunately has to be wiped of her memory in order for her to be healed. After this incident, Elsa is separated from Anna and becomes fearful of her powers, being told to be a good girl and to conceal, don't feel. Elsa was isolated in the presumption that removing herself from Anna would protect her beloved sister from her power. The fear of her own power changes at the core who Elsa thinks she is, and thus leads to further suppression of her feelings to be a good girl. Elsa and Anna live in this disconnected life until Elsa's coronation ball when she comes of age. At the festivities, Anna falls in love with Prince Hans, but Elsa forbids the desired marriage and a fight ensues. Elsa loses her composure and sets off an internal winter, which freezes the entire queendom and reveals her powers. Elsa, having lost all serenity, flees to the North Mountain, where she sings Let It Go. As Elsa begins to sing Let It Go, among the first lyrics are a kingdom of isolation, and it looks like I'm the queen. Elsa acknowledges the heavy burden on herself and the fact that she has no support in her role. The isolation that Elsa refers to is the isolation of herself from others, her sister and her people. Elsa deliberately suppresses her feelings to perform her functions as the queen. On the outside, she strives to keep her composure, but on the inside, she struggles with complex emotions trying to surface. Because of the pressure and duty to perform her role as a queen, she fears the judgment of the people and thus tries to keep her powers concealed. Elsa faces this predicament alone, with no help from a male suitor. Elsa does not seek a male partner to help her in this situation, but rather is content in helping herself by accepting who she is. Elsa returns to her playful and creative self from her childhood, as she builds a snowman that would later become Olaf, just as she sings, I can't hold it back anymore. But as she lets go of her past, she discovers that her power isn't one to be feared. Rather, she finds her power to be beautiful as she creates a funny snowman. Rather than sing about a male suitor, like Anna, I suddenly see him standing there, a beautiful stranger, tall and fair. Elsa sings, I don't care what they're going to say. Let the storm rage on. As Elsa is experiencing this newfound power in her freedom, this is substituting her romantic interests, again breaking free of the stereotype of needing a male figure. Elsa has the power, but she has no love life. Elsa herself doesn't feel any romantic attraction because of her powerful role as the queen. Since the male figure is usually the one with power, and thus the ability to save the usually poor princess, this stereotype doesn't work with Elsa. In fact, the roles are switched, as Elsa has all the power because she is the queen. Elsa no longer needs a prince to save her. But ironically, Elsa's salvation can't be achieved by power because her issue is an internal struggle, wrestling her fears of her power that spontaneously gets out of control corresponding to her emotions. But Elsa, independent, doesn't need any saving from a male figure and resolves her problem by herself. She no longer has to be the good girl you always have to be, told by her father many times to be safe from her powers. Rather, Elsa wants to do the opposite. To test the limits and break through, no right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free. The good girl reference many times refers to the male's or father's resolution on how Elsa would be the safest. Don't let them in, don't let them see. Be the good girl you always have to be. She discovers the beauty in herself and her powers once it is exposed. Elsa's journey to self-salvation is the overall purpose of the music, breaking free from the stereotype. To test the limits and break through of the stereotype is a concept that Disney has used with Frozen and ultimately with Let It Go. The typical format of the prince saving the damsel in distress is broken, as Disney takes a step forward with Elsa as the sole ruler of the queendom, with no partner. Possibly the closest Disney princess out of the norm that compares to Elsa is Merida from the movie Brave, in which she disobeys her mother and refuses to marry a suitor. In Frozen, Disney broke through to undertake two female sisters as the main characters. However, Anna did follow the stereotype that Disney princesses want a male suitor, as she sang, "A chance to find true love." Elsa is the anomaly and the novel character in Frozen and in the Disney world, as Elsa doesn't find love. However, the director for Frozen 2 has mentioned Elsa could potentially have a girlfriend. Nonetheless, Elsa discovers the power of independence from a male figure in Let It Go, which in turn empowers the audience to embrace themselves and not conform to their own stereotype. Frozen's narrative, accompanied by Let It Go, breaks free from the stereotype that Disney princesses need a prince to live happily ever after. Thank you.